I want to quickly summarize where we are at the moment. According to current research, pedophilia is an unchangeable sexual orientation, just like, for example, heterosexuality. No one chooses to be a pedophile. No one can cease being one. The difference between pedophilia and other sexual orientations is that living out this sexual orientation will end.
What is going on? All right, so we can see that this thing about pedophilia is not a conspiracy theory. It is real, it is out there. Pedophiles exist, and my opinion, that is very wrong in the society. It's one of the worst things you can do for a child. So here's the thing. When it comes to like pedophiles and all pedophilia and everything, I think both people in the left and in the right can agree that that is something that should be unacceptable. But whatever is going on, I do believe that there is somehow conditioning people to normalize this mentally disorder thing. And they're trying to push it on the masses, try to by normalizing, and that's unacceptable. Where did it originate? How did it begin? Well, one of the things I'm gonna be transparent here, and I'm gonna speak from my I'm gonna explain to you from a personal conviction regarding my beliefs as a Christian. I believe that the only way that you can a safe sex and a purified sex is between a man and a woman who are married. And it's sex outside of marriage is, in my opinion, is considered a sin. Now, to each their own. I am not going to push my beliefs. I am going to share my beliefs. If you don't agree with them, that's fine. You can share your beliefs with me, and if I disagree with them, then I'm just going to say I don't believe in them. Now, you're not going to push those beliefs in me. It's just like I'm not going to push my beliefs on you. So we're going to agree to disagree, and I would just pray for you that God will be able to open your heart, and you'll be able to see with your spiritual eyes. But pedophilia is just something that it's not really about whether you agree or not. And where did it originate? Well, the thing going to all these sins, I do believe, I said it. I remember when I was in high school, I said, they were talking about normalizing gay marriage. Now, when it comes to like homosexuals, I'm not in favor of telling the government and the government forcing people to become straight. That's not what I push. But when we begin to call gay marriage as something normal, when I believe that marriage should be defined between a man and a woman, then I do have a problem with that. And I clearly remembered, and I told them, what makes you think and what makes you wonder that would somehow not lead to other things? If we go back a few years back, we can see how lesbians and homosexuals rejected the transsexual community. As time progressed, the transsexuals are now part of the homosexuals and lesbian community. Now, I don't have any hate, and I don't have, and I'm not like, and I don't believe in discrimination. Just too long ago, I saw this video that was just very heartbreaking about 3 transgender women were assaulted in Los Angeles, and I frowned upon that. It's disgusting. I don't, even if I disagree with them, I don't think no human being should be able to go through something like that. But my beliefs are there, and but before the homosexual activity, before homosexual became very normal in society, it was what was bad was heterosexual sex before marriage. They began to promote that, and it became very normal when it used to be frowned upon. Now society doesn't frown upon it. As a matter of fact, they encourage it. And if you're a virgin, then somehow there's something wrong with you. That's the type of society that we have that we are living in. And as time passes by, the worse it's going to get. Now, it's only a matter of time before bestiality and incest has been happening already in many remote areas around the world. But it's just a matter of time before bestiality and incest. And I'm not talking about cousins. I'm talking about brothers. I'm talking about fathers and mothers having intercourse with their children. That's the type of incest I am speaking of. And it's just a matter of time before that happens. But I feel that if humans want to tend to that, then as Christians, we should pray about it and share our beliefs and trust the Holy Spirit to do His work. But I do have to draw the line on something, and that is when it comes to the children. Keep those things away from the children. And this all began, if you don't, it's just not too long ago, when you begin to normalize these kids and let them know and encourage them to have a sex change when they're not even ready. I mean, you have these kids and you're bringing transsexuals to read for these kids and, normalize. And I guess I guess I can understand it. You're trying to let them know that those type of people exist in this world and to treat them with respect. However, you have to consider that kids around that age are not even thinking about sex. They're not even thinking about heterosexual sex. And I just don't understand how you are pushing this type of propaganda on these kids. By like little Timmy, all of a sudden he sees a princess movie and he admires a princess. So that's enough to convince you that he's ready to get a sex change. That's or stuff like that. You have to understand that when kids are little kids, they want to be anything, and many of the times kids aren't there's a lot of confusion with these kids. They're very innocent. They don't know what they want, and I think it all started because of that, because they're conditioning these kids by putting transsexuals they're putting transsexuals ideas in their minds. So how can a pedophile be able to justify his intention? Simple. If you are telling kids that at a young age they're able to decide what sex, what gender they want to be, what makes you think that the pedophiles are not going to use that and say that if you're able to tell them, if you ever to convince a kid that they are ready to become a man or a woman at a very young age, then what is the difference between a pedophile? That is what they're going to use. That's the argument that these pedophiles are going to use. And they're trying to push pedophilia as a sexual orientation. That's not a sexual orientation. That is a mental disorder, and it should be treated as a mental disorder. Now, I believe in grace. I believe in mercy, which means that if a person is a pedophile and has not acted on his urges, I believe that it's rather than him being condemned, or if it's a woman, rather than her being condemned, she seek immediately help and get counseling. Maybe many of these pedophiles are actually pedophiles because they had trauma when they were kids, and in order for them to continue that demonic pattern to the next generation, they should seek treatment, they should seek help. But if they do act on the urges, robbing the innocence of a kid, I hate to say this, but they should pay with crime. They should pay with jail time, possibly the death penalty. It's not revenge. It is not revenge. It is showing and putting a standard and letting people know that this is a serious crime, that you are not going to do this against kids. Sure, they can be forgiven, but I do believe that the consequences should be there. But in order for them to not go that route, I believe that they should take that route. But no, we should not normalize it like if it's a condition that it's okay. and you're just sick. No, we have to create and let them know that that is not how they're going to be, these pedophiles. Not to normalize this, not to say that this is who you are, this is how you were born, it's out of your control. I don't care. There is a cure for that, and they need treatment. And if they act upon that, their urges, and hurt an innocent, then they should pay. So this is something that's very serious. This is something that's going on. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't have the evidence, I don't have the proof, but I wouldn't be surprised that you have powerful people from all fields of influence that are being behind the scenes. I mean, it has happened in the past. We've seen so many times, like with the R. Kelly, with Harvey Einstein, with Bill Cosby, with so many people being accused of rapists and being pedophiles. Not too long, I mean, maybe about 20 years ago, there was a Mexican singer, Gloria Trevi. She was married to her husband. They were running a sex prostitute ring in Brazil. You don't think that that's still going on? You see now Gloria Trevi, apparently she was, she tried to paint herself that she was manipulated by her husband or stuff like that. But I mean, it could be possibly, I don't know, it could be possible that she was only sorry because she got caught. Now just imagine so many people who haven't been caught and have been doing all of this. Jeffrey Epstein and stuff and people like that. So we need to make sure, we need to be very, very careful. And this is something that we need to bring awareness. We need to, because these children, they do not deserve to be robbed out of their innocence. Now, when it comes to teenagers, teenagers are not innocent. They're just immature. So I do believe that when it comes to a teenager, sex between those female, teachers that are having sex with students or stuff like that. Many of the problem with that is not the fact that these teenagers are innocent, because the teenagers these days are not innocent, but they do have immaturity, and because of the immaturity, I don't believe that they should get the death penalty. But when it comes to little children that are very toddlers or little kids in elementary, then definitely I do believe that should, in my opinion, that's something that should be I mean, they should implement a death penalty. When it comes to teenagers, unless it was rape, but that can be with anybody, you should not force yourself upon anybody. Everybody knows that it's a crime. Teenagers, they should, these pedophiles who prey on teenagers should do jail time. Kids, however, they're not just immature, they are innocent. They're so innocent, and it's not fair to rob an innocent out of these kids, out of these children. I don't have any children. I have nieces and nephews. Well, I don't have a nephew yet, but soon. But I want to let you guys know that this is something that is scary what's going on, And I've said this. I didn't really have a platform. My platform right now is not big. I'm aiming for it, but I did say it before. And I shared this with some friends that it's only a matter of time before pedophilia becomes normalized. It hasn't been normalized, but they're attempting to do it. And I think that we should be very, very careful and really look into this. Sexual orientation, pedophilia should not be considered a sexual orientation.